The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy.
You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is December 18th, 2019, episode 169. And this week, Flip the Beast 999 and GOP Cyborg. My name's Basil.
And this is Gonz. Welcome to the podcast where we bring you fringe news with views from biblical pages called out to you to rattle some cages.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow, very good. Yeah, just to pull back the curtain for everybody, Gunn says, okay, I've got something special for you. You're either going to love it or you're going to hate it, but here we go. And then we started the show, and turns out Gonz is going to be the next big SoundCloud rapper. It'll all make sense in this episode, but I just wanted to thank Jason over at canarycry.community. Started a thread in there asking people what I should say at the top of the show to kind of wrap up or summarize what the show's about. And I don't know, it's just that this one popped out at me, and I tried it with a beat under it. Yeah, we noticed. And for those of you who don't know, canarycry.community is the new cool place to be. We've been pushing the Canary Cry community on Facebook. We've got over 2,000 people in that group, Canarians just like you, getting connected, sharing memes, sharing stories, praying for each other, fellowshipping, all sorts of good stuff happening over there on the Facebook. But we also took the time and the energy, mostly we had a very nice listener volunteer his time and energy.
Smiley Pants 707. Big shout out.
That's right. To help us create an off Facebook community. That's right. Facebook is going to be incinerated in the years to come. And in order to preserve the community that that you guys have built coming around the show, we went ahead and created an off Facebook platform called canarycry.community. Yes, that is a real URL. You can go to canarycry.community and sign up, join the crowd. Hundreds of people have already moved over there, especially those who are not Facebook people. The Facebook group won't be shut down. It'll still be going, but I recommend everybody head over to canarycry.community and join the other Canarians in this off Facebook community. It's a little bit more of like a classic forum layout, but it's got it's a very robust platform.
Yes.
So it's kind of like, this isn't your mom's forum. This is right. This is the next gen forum technology.
and because it's open source, we can actually control the data.
Yes.
To some extent.
Imagine that. You go onto an actual community and everything that you post is not put on your permanent record. That's a very nice way to go. Yep. Okay, Gonz. Now, this is going to be a little crammed up top here, but I want to give you a flippy update, but let's merge it with a little bit of Garfield.
Did you ever have the feeling that you were being watched?
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
That's right, Gonzo. Now, we've talked about the use of brain interfaces or mind reading technology being employed in Chinese classrooms, and we said it was just a matter of time, and turns out it was just a less like of a matter of time than we expected. So this was already in the works. I'm reading from boston.cbslocal.com. So, hey, Bostonites, Bostonians, Massachusetts people, this is from your local station. Young people are bombarded with more information and distractions than ever before. But what if schools could use kids' love of technology to teach them how to harness their brain power? A Somerville company is doing that at Catholic Memorial in West Roxbury, where the kids say it's helped them learn
how and when to focus, because that's, step one in learning. Knowing when it's about to happen. And Gons, we got some clips from this one. Would it be better to just play the clip instead of me reading the paragraph? Okay,
it would. It's a little bit longer, and we're not used to doing clips on this show, but we'll start bringing them in as they pertain to the stuff we talk about, or as in that
for
week
the sake
it's
of time,
relevant.
It's easier to let the news channel summarize it for us here.
Yep, this is a CBS News Boston.
It's tonight's Eye on Education. Students in this robotics class at Catholic Memorial High School in West Roxbury aren't just playing games. They're learning to train their brains.
We use this with F1 drivers. We use this with Olympic athletes to help train them how to control their mind better.
Sensors on these headsets, made by Cambridge-based Brain Co., detect electrical brain signals and change the light you see from yellow, general awareness, to red when the brain is in a highly active state, showing students they can learn to concentrate.
In kids with attention issues, actually those issues start to reduce.
So students can get a better understanding by watching this graph and watching the color change during a class that shows them how their brain focuses best. Thousands of people are using this headset around the world. It's currently in use in 2 schools here in Massachusetts, including here at Catholic Memorial.
I kind of think it's kind of cool because it's kind of an experiment to see how to train my brain.
Right now it's yellow. Do a math problem for me so I can see if it turns red. Watch as freshman Jack Fitzgerald thinks about math. The sensors pick up his brain activity, and his teacher can see his attention level change. Yeah. There you go. So it's turned red.
Yeah, I'm kind of watching it through here too, trying to see what I am, if I'm focused or I'm kind of yellow.
And teachers get a visual clue when they're losing their students' attention.
For the boys to be able to control their minds and get into one of those 2 states when appropriate is incredibly good for, teenage boy to be able to self-control.
In a way, it's data-driven teaching.
That's exactly right, yeah. And it's giving you something quantifiable that you can point to instead of a more qualitative, I think, response for a teacher.
Qualitative, I think. So yeah, there we go. We got kids. We got good old American kids wearing brain reading devices, and it's kind of funny in this report because when the kid starts to think about math, the light doesn't really change
in the video clip. Yeah, and then maybe it does change in a little while, but I don't know. This is just training the kids to rely heavily on these light signals to know what brain state they're in. And I mean, the manipulation, the potential for manipulation, to say the least, but also what kind of side effects is this creating that we're so reliant on a visual cue to know what state we're in.
You need a toaster to tell you when you're thinking.
Right.
Yeah, no, it's very interesting. And, I don't know. When I think of short-term stuff and individual students, I don't necessarily freak out too much for these individual kids. But when it comes to, this being the first step to applying this technology in classrooms all over the country for general students, not just robotics students, as we've talked about in the stories regarding China, it really it just kind of has that big brother type of feel when the teacher up at front can tell if you're daydreaming about Jill or something and not paying attention to and not thinking about math, but
not doing math, just thinking about math.
But Gons, there's a kicker at the end of this, which is our Flippy update. Why don't you hit that second clip?
Yeah. Here we go.
So each headset is $399. And the next use for this technology, by the way, is helping to maneuver a prosthetic hand.
Using those brain signals to do that.
You can imagine the potential here, and hopefully over time, as they get smaller, less expensive, more and more schools will be able to utilize this kind of technology.
I fear I'd put mine on, it would just be blue.
It would just go
less than
flatline.
So funny. That adult is a dummy. But yeah, no, they wanted, the next step is to use these headsets to control a prosthetic arm. I don't know why I pronounced it that way.
A prosthetic arm.
Prosthetic arm.
Which Flippy is the disembodied robot arm that is controlled by people or minds or
whatever,
themselves.
Or AI.
Yeah,
What
we're
if
programming
AI
it.
doesn't exist, man? What if AI doesn't exist? It's just headsets strapped onto the brains of Chinese school children, and they're controlling all the robots.
And now Boston school children. It's coming.
So there you go, Guns. There's your Flippy update for the day. Nothing else to say there, except for
nothing else to say.
All AI and robots are being controlled by Chinese children in classrooms.
Okay.
That's today's big revelation.
Speaking of the beast system, beast system,
it will kill.
All right, so this is USA Today. I had a lot of people message me about this story, or not particularly this article, but this general story of Juice WRLD, WRLD, Juice WRLD's girlfriend.
Juice WRLD. Yes, if you are connected, if you are fully linked in with the matrix of Canary Cry information, we did a bonus episode over on Canary Cry Radio Patreon where we talked all about SoundCloud rappers, which was my temporary obsession last year.
Yeah.
If you don't know who SoundCloud rappers are, they're the ones with the face tattoos and the hair.
And the hair. What is that supposed to mean?
I know. And SoundCloud rappers.
Like you don't have exquisite and I don't know, different hair.
You know what?
Than the normal folk.
SoundCloud rapper, it's part of the SoundCloud rapper equation. You have to have hair that makes people confused, futuristic. Yes, face tattoos and just confusing hair.
Right. Okay. All right, so this is usatoday.com. Juice WRLD's girlfriend speaks out on the rapper's death. He literally loved every single one of you. And it says here, Ali Lottie, Juice WRLD's girlfriend, is speaking out about the rapper's death last week. The 21-year-old rapper, whose real name was Jared Anthony Higgins, died December 8th after suffering a medical emergency at Chicago Midway International Airport. Addressing fans during a tribute, the Juice at Hip Hop Festival Rolling Loud in Los Angeles over the weekend, Lolly wanted fans to know how much the rapper cared about them. And I have a clip for this one too, Basil.
Okay.
Any negative thing in your life, he would tell you every time he saw you and change that to a positive situation. He changed that to 999. You got to keep that in your heart. Can everyone say 999? Thank you.
So there you go. The 999. What's that all about? Well, according to this article, quote, in the last book, this is quoting actually Juice WRLD back in an interview in 2018, quote, in the last book of the Bible, it says that 666 is the mark of the beast, right? 999 represents taking whatever hell, whatever bad situation, or whatever struggle you're going through and turning it into something positive and using it to push yourself forward, he said in an interview. Whoa, bless you.
Thank you.
We need a mute button. A Chicago native, Higgins launched his career on SoundCloud before becoming a streaming juggernaut. He gained prominence when his 2018 single Lucid Dreams, which heavily sampled Sting's Shape of My Heart, was a 6-time platinum success and peaked at number 2 on Billboard's Hot 100.
You know, I gotta say, I went and I looked up Lucid Dreams by Juice WRLD, saw the music video on YouTube. I might just be getting old, man, but wasn't for me. And the video, I don't think was for anyone.
It was for the elite. It was for the Illuminists to sit there and go,
lots of symbolism and sort of contrived imagery.
Right. So the kind of spin and the conspiracy theories that I've seen people send me anyway is that, hey, this Juice WRLD guy was trying to call out the whole system, the whole beast system, and he was killed for it. I mean, he was only 21 years old, and they're saying that his death was a little bit more mysterious. They're not exactly sure what happened. But that's the idea here. Maybe, maybe he publicly came out and tried to flip the 666 thing that he saw, obviously, that he was a part of. And, that's a potential narrative. We have no true evidence of that, but just, to think out loud.
Right. And it's interesting because, well, first of all, just to go through the details, he had a seizure at Chicago Airport. Right. And then was taken to Christ Hospital and died in Christ Hospital.
Christ Hospital, yeah. That's interesting,
so there's
too.
Sort of a Christ narrative trying to be played out there. But also, what was I going to say? Oh, shoot, I lost my point. But you might be wondering, why are we talking about SoundCloud rappers? What is Basil's obsession with SoundCloud rappers? And here's the thing. If you got Generation Zers in your life, or just the fact that they exist and they are going to inherit the earth when I'm done with it, it's very influential. I mean, 6-time platinum. What is that? 6 million sold? Is it platinum a million?
Like that. I don't remember.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a pretty decent number for record sales.
Through the legacy system, too. That's the thing. They just pick up a SoundCloud rapper and all of a sudden they're huge stars and they're selling millions of records.
Right. And
or singles or whatever.
Yeah. And when these super popular SoundCloud rappers talk, the Gen Zers listen. And so I thought it was interesting. Yeah. Bringing up the 666, referencing the Bible, Mark of the Beast, and then trying to flip it. I don't know exactly what the theology is behind that, but, trying to, even just the imagery of trying to basically rebel or flip the beast system on its head like that, it is a dangerous thing to do. And especially mysterious deaths like seizures at airports and things like that are always suspect when it comes to, it's reminiscent of like a Clinton death count type of thing.
It is. It kind of is.
Claiming that this guy crossed Clinton's, but you know what I mean.
I think I do know what you mean. I think what you mean is this.
Epstein didn't kill himself.
You've got this very specific tone of speaking when you're searching, when you're looking for your list.
I know. I'm like,
list of jingles.
I know. Yeah,
oh yeah. Right. Well, what do you think about this?
What about this? Yeah.
Oh, such a good song. Okay, the Gazette.com. GOP candidate pitches robots and immortality to Iowa voters. Gons, it's kind of... Yes, we kind of got a show full of updates here. This is an update on Zoltan Istvan. For those who don't know, he ran for president down in 2016 because time is a vertical linear. Down below us in 2016, he ran for president with the Transhumanist Party. He was until recently the leader of the Transhumanist Party. He's no longer the leader, correct?
He's still, I think he's still kind of behind it, but he's not he's not using it. Yeah, he's the puppeteer now. He's not leading it with his face.
He's not the president of the party or the leader of the party, because right now he is running as a Republican for the 2020 thing. So
election.
Yes, he's running against incumbent Trump.
Yep, he wants to take over Trump.
Yes, I mean, the whole thing is just a publicity stunt, so that's cool.
He's pretty good at those.
I know. So speaking of publicity stunts, here's what he's getting into. Democrats have Andrew Yang. Republicans have Zoltan Istvan. Both men are running for the presidency as political outsiders and pitching radical future-focused ideas to voters. For Yang, it's universal basic income and a slew of other technocratic policy proposals. Istvan also supports a form of universal basic income, but his primary focus is even wilder. He wants the country to prepare for the transhumanist future. Istvan defines transhumanism as the movement to upgrade human bodies and lives with technology. He predicts a future in which our bodies will be significantly augmented, such as with robotic arms or computer displays in our eyes. He expects human lifespans will drastically increase and the robots will take on more human-like characteristics, including consciousness. Outside of science fiction entertainment, these are not ideas most Americans think about as public policy issues. Quote, when I was traveling in Iowa, I told people about it. They thought I was on some other spaceship. Istvan told me during a phone interview last week. Istvan ran for president in 2016 under the Transhumanist Party and ran in the California gubernatorial primary with the Libertarian Party last year. He's not a traditional Republican, but hopes to find allies among GOP primary voters. Quote, as an entrepreneur, I've always been fiscally conservative, totally socially liberal, libertarian to the core when it comes to social ideas, Istvan says. There is a great deal of disagreement about whether and how soon the huge technological developments Istvan discusses might be achieved. It might be 10 or 20 years, as he predicts, but also could be more than 100 years away, or never. Nevertheless, some form of transhumanism and an increasing level of artificial intelligence-aided automation are already upon us. Istvan warns that the United States will be ill-equipped to manage social and economic changes. Quote, I'm worried we're going to wake up in 4 to 8 years and China will be the dominant player in the world, both culturally and with innovation and with money and the economy, Istvan said. To prepare, Istvan suggests several steps that will make many Americans uncomfortable. As a few examples, the Transhumanist Campaign proposes mandatory college attendance for most people, licensure testing, for parents, and merging licensing is what I would say, tests for parents. You got to have a license to be a parent, and merging the United States, Canada, and the European Union into a joined partnership. That's kind of racist. He's leaving out Mexico. You know, why all these white countries, Istvan? Anyways,
I know why.
Istvan.
We should invite fewer people to be born.
Okay, very good. I'm sure Istvan is also pretty into eugenics, but that's not a good presidential platform to run on. No. Istvan wants to partially fund the government through leasing federal lands, vast spaces of which sit mostly unused in the western United States with trillions of dollars of natural resources. He has no affinity for nature, which he sees as antagonistic and immoral. Whoa. The immorality of nature. Wow. There's some connections to be made there with sort of an antagonism against God in general, I think.
Yeah.
And Istvan would radically expand the use of police surveillance technology, including a facial recognition and tracking devices. He generally wants to, quote, roll back privacy norms that inhibit technology. I think these are ideas whose time might never come, but Istvan predicts the rest of us will eventually come around. Quote, the transhumanist age will be upon us sometime. People will remember Zoltan has been out there talking about these ideas for a long time.
Did he just refer to himself in third person at the end?
You know, they don't actually attribute this quote to somebody, but it says he said. So yes, he said third personing himself.
Istvan was here.
Zoltan, a man of the people, Mr. Zoltan is.
Yeah.
So there you go, Gons. He's coming in as a Republican against incumbent Trump to turn us all into cyborgs, make us get licenses to become parents, and force mandatory college education on people.
And the police state and the economy. We have to, and all to fight China, right? Because China's cyborg, is rising. So we must cyborg America.
We are catching up with the cyborg students. We're getting there.
Are you ready to become cyborg?
Just to throw that in there.
Yeah, very good. I don't know. So I don't know. There's not much of a special angle to take on this, except for keeping everybody updated on our good buddy Zoltan. So if you're in Iowa, try to catch a rally or something.
Yeah. Give us a report from the boots on the ground, because this is going to be an interesting shift in the next decade. What happens to politics and the topic of transhumanism and technocracy?
Zoltan is drastically overestimating Republicans, just in all ways. More police surveillance, more licensing, more government control over our lives. That's what you Republicans want.
But didn't he say he was socially liberal? I don't know.
He calls himself a libertarian.
Libertarian.
And he keeps,
libertarian.
And he keeps talking about more government control. Unless all this control is given to private corporations. Either way, I mean, these ideas are insane. All right.
So we have a special kind of hybrid Nephilim update that's gonna we'll see what happens here.
You remember the children's book when you were growing up about the family of bears?
The Berenstain Bears.
Berenstain, S-T-E-I-N. Have you heard of the Mandela effect?
Nephilim update. Nephilim update. Nephilim update.
Markets.businessinsider.com. Headline: Giant celebrates families through new partnership with the Berenstain Bears.
A giant, you say?
Yeah, it's not as cool as the headline. When I read the headline, I was like, what? Yeah. What is going on here? But actually, it's a Giant Food Stores, which is a company, will introduce the company's new partnership with the iconic Berenstain Bears franchise today by celebrating a grand opening. The Treehouse at some flagship stores located in Pennsylvania. And it says here, Mike Berenstain, second generation author and illustrator of the Berenstain Bears, will join Giant Food Stores president Nicholas Bertram at an unveiling ceremony at the store today. So that's our Nephilim update, Mandela effect kind of.
Giants are teaming up with the Mandela effect to bring us the Berenstain Bears treehouse. Okay. Yep. All right. Sounds good.
Kids could go there.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, folks. Everything you heard on the show today, there is more to talk about. And guess what? You can talk about it by going to canarycry.community. Again, that's canarycry.community. A couple people had some problems with that URL. If you have problems with the URL, just type in www.canarycry.community and that fixes it. But there, we are off Facebook. Well, we are branching away from Facebook. The Facebook Canary Cry community still exists. I still recommend people go join it if they can't tear themselves away from Facebook. But if you are looking for an off Facebook platform where everything you say or do doesn't go on your permanent record and email directly to Mark Zuckerberg so he can personally keep an eye on you, head over to
really just nailing him down for the ad.
I know
of our community.
He deserves it.
He's the scapegoat for our community.
Canarycry.community. It is a very robust forum with all sorts of social features, and best of all, the info doesn't get sold to big corporations. As far as I know, I don't know. Maybe somebody's on there just copying and pasting and selling it off. Who knows? But you go over to Canary Cry Community, create an account. Like the Facebook group, we are filtering, so your account will need to be approved, which will happen very quickly thanks to our very diligent moderators and admins. And we'd like to thank Smiley Pants 707 for putting in all the hard work to get this thing made and managed. And I see this as a great expansion to the Canary Cry family of products, Gons.
Yeah, it's a good time. There's there's over 200 people in there now. Most of the folks in there that haven't really commented or done much. It is a little bit, it might take a few times to just kind of scroll around and click around to get used to it. But it's pretty cool. I'm getting used to it. I have been prompted to go on huge rants based on some of the topics and ideas people are bringing up in the forum. So you'll see some pretty lengthy posts from me, but it's a good time. I like it.
if you're on the Canary Cry community on Facebook, you'll notice Guns does not show up very often. I pop in once in a while, but now canarycry.community is much more friendly for paranoid people like us to go in and start interacting.
Yeah.
So once again, canarycry.community, or if that doesn't work, www.canarycry.community. Yeah. You got it. You get it. Wow, my brain just glitched. My brain glitched for a second.
Glitch.
All right, folks. And here's one more thing. We are almost coming into the next decade. This show has been running for over 8 years, or coming up on 8 years.
Well, technically, this show's been around since 2016, so I think we're going on 4 years.
Yes,
news
but the Canary Cry family of products has been around for coming up on 8 years. We are moving into the next decade here, and I'm laying it on a little thick right now because people need to know, really take into account that we do not believe in selling your attention. You trust us with your attention for this time every week, and the thought of selling your attention to an advertiser so they can brainwash you on our show to go buy their products is repulsive to us.
Never.
Now, here's the thing about that. That is a horrible way to make any money for the work we put into the show. So we are calling on all listeners to participate in our value for value philosophy. If you get anything out of this show, even if it's just to kill a half hour a week, what is that worth to you? Is it worth $1? I mean, that's absurd. It's absurd that this wouldn't be worth $1 to somebody for a monthly donation. But just to give you guys the numbers, significantly less than 1% of listeners support the show. If we could even bring that up to 1%, or even imagine Gon's 2% of listeners supporting the show on Patreon, it would completely change the game. Now, here's the thing. You're sitting there, you agree with me. You're saying, yeah, people should support the show. I'm glad Basil's laying this on really thick and taking a big risk. So everybody else who's listening to this show can support it. And I just don't have time. No, I'm talking to you, listener, right now. You, the one with your vivid, living your vivid life, listening to me in your earbuds or your car speakers right now. You are the one. You are the chosen one to go to patreon.com/CCNT, or if you don't like Patreon, head to canarycryradio.com/support and support the show, because it's only because of listeners like you who take a second to sign up for Patreon or go through canarycryradio.com/support and make the decision to contribute some value to the show so we can keep doing it. Reward us for not advertising to you, because it would be much easier to just sell out and start advertising Swiffer wet jets, because boy, can I sell some Swiffer wet jets.
Well, the thing also, it's really important. We've brought it up in on the regular podcast as well, but we are not a 501c3 corporate or not corporate institution.
They are corporations, but yes, right. we are not 501c3. We are, and you might think, well, I wish you were, so I could get a tax benefit on my $1 donation. But here's the thing. When you're a 501c3, many of you may or may not know this, you are regulated on what you can and can't say. And, we made a decision a long time ago to stay a private business, technically. So we can say whatever we want. We're not beholden to government interests. We're not beholden to corporate interests through advertising. The only way that we can keep this show the way it is and say whatever we want is by doing it old school. And we can only do that with the support of our listeners. So thank you very much for those who do support the show. You are heroes in my eyes. And those of you sitting there listening now thinking, oh, good, somebody, I really hope they do get a bunch of donations. You are the donor. You listening right now.
I like how you called them the chosen one. You have been chosen.
You are the chosen one. Go to patreon.com/CCNT because there, Gons, we got all sorts of fun rewards, including you get an additional episode of Canary Cry News Talk every single week. That's right. We're going to be recording our extended report. We got another CERN update, and we're going to be talking about some masonry in the sports industry. Okay. These are very important updates everybody needs to get. You can get them at patreon.com/CCNT. Join in on the fun and help us get a little boost here to support ourselves and grow the show as we move into the next decade. And here's the thing, leave a rating and a review. That helps out the show as well. This is not in place of donating, but you got to donate and you got to leave a rating and a review because that helps spread the show as well. And while you're at it, if you got friends and loved ones who are not listening to Canary Cry News Talk, getting their news from Mark Zuckerberg and the mainstream, you got to grab them by the cage and shake it, baby.
Canaries in a cage.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
CanaryCryRadio.com/support. That's right, everybody. Thanks for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cage.